If you are tired of hearing advice that you should scale your business to 5, 10, 25, 50, 100K months, then this episode is for you. We're going to talk about why scaling doesn't make sense for small businesses necessarily and what you can do instead. Let's dive in. So when you first start a business, you are not in scaling mode. If you are scaling to 5K, you are not scaling, you are growing, right? Like if you are still getting to the point where you are paying yourself, that is growth. That's not scaling. Scaling means you have something that works, that's profitable, and you are taking that and you are amplifying it. So to give an example, if you are a snack brand, right? A snack brand, I think consumer and packaged goods are good examples of companies that can scale easily. But say you're a snack brand and you have been selling in your local market. So you're in local grocery stores. Maybe you go to the local farmer's market and it's really successful, right? So you know you have something that works and now you're ready to go national. That's when you're going to scale because you're going to need more staff. You're going to need bigger distribution. And so there's all of these pieces that need to come into place so that you can provide that product in different places. And so as service providers, you could scale, right? You're not going to be able to infinitely scale like a product would. I mean, it's impossible to infinitely scale. You run out of resources and people to buy your thing. But as a service provider, you are the business, right? Things run through you. You need to be there. Not saying you can't take a vacation, but your expertise is required in the business until you maybe get to the point where you build an agency or, you might want to step back and you systematize it. But when you are first growing and you are working to pay yourself and establish your position in the market, you're in growth mode. You're not in scale mode. Scale mode is going to come when you know your processes really well, you have them documented, you have that structure, you can repeat that structure and you could hand it off to somebody else, right? That's what's going to allow you to scale, is to be able to multiply your effort, to be able to hire staff. That is different than growing your business. And I think one thing to say is you don't have to scale your business. You can just grow your business. You can have a strategically small business. Maggie Patterson talks about this all of the time. If you want to stay strategically small, check out her podcast. So when you're thinking about your marketing strategy, right? There's a few pieces that you need. When you're growing, you need to get visible, right? You need to get in front of new people. You need to get clear on what your message is and then get to the point where you're consistently signing clients. Once you're there, then you can have the option to scale, which is going to be helping you grow even more, refining your systems and really focusing on optimization. When I think about optimization, I think about that Buy Now documentary where the Amazon employee is talking about how they literally look at 9 different colors and test out what's going to get people to click more. That's the level of optimization that happens at the scaling level. Versus as a small business owner, you don't need to focus on the colors on your website to impact conversion. Yes, you want to look professional, but really you are in a position where you can focus more on relationships versus transactions. And so I think where people struggle is there's so much advice to grow your email list super big, go viral on social media, do all of this stuff, build these massive funnels, make sure you have your multi-step email sequences. And yes, those are great if you know what your message is and your message is converting. They're not easy. A lot of the times, people who are saying these messages have teams behind them, right? Writing a funnel that converts and then optimizing that funnel is a lot of work. And if marketing is not the main thing that you do, that's going to be a ton of extra work on your shoulders. And so just figuring out what kind of marketing system is going to work for your business that's going to get you the results and remembering that you don't need to scale your business. You can just sustainably grow your business. I think one way that I was thinking that I kind of got caught up in this when I first started my business, I took this course. The big promise of the course was scale to 5K. Spoiler, I made zero money during that course because there was no sales involved. But one of the modules in the course was all about like setting up your workflow, setting up your Dubsado, and making sure like you have this all ready for when people come. What's the issue? The issue was that I had never actually done a project before. So I was trying to set up these workflows without ever having actually done a project, which basically like made me recreate the work. So fast forward 3 years, I ended up getting rid of Dubsado. I scratched everything. I basically like created all these systems that were too clunky because they didn't actually fit how I worked. And in these past few years, I've learned a lot about what works for me, what works for my clients, how to improve these processes. And I'm now getting to the point where I'm writing them all down as I work through client projects so that then I can systematize it so that I could maybe hire a copywriter later who is going to help me write using my same process. But because I did all of that work, like it was kind of wasted effort. I mean, it wasn't because I thought about it, I learned, I reflected. But in a way, it was like I had to do the work twice because I was trying to do it too soon. And I think that is really what happens in marketing is like people are like, oh, I need, X, Y, Z. I need all of these things. And they try to do all of the things. And then they're like, wait, why isn't any of this working? And I'm so guilty of this too. Trying to be in all the places at once and then being like, wait a second. And it's, it goes back to this idea that I talked about in a few episodes ago of quality over quantity. Like if you are trying to be in all of the places at once, you're probably going to be using a lot of AI slop because you don't have the capacity as a small business owner to be a content creator. And so really thinking about where can you show up strategically? Where can you show up intentionally? And what are my goals? Are my goals to grow or are my goals to scale, right? I've been playing Lego games on the Switch recently, and those are really great examples of like omnipresent marketing because I've been playing like Lego Harry Potter and Lego Star Wars, and those are collaborations, right, between Disney and Lego and the company TT that makes the games. Those are great marketing. You, as a business owner, do not have the budget to make movies and video games and things that people enjoy like that, right? Like your budget is probably like, hey, I'm going to have a really great website and maybe one other channel. And that's okay. Like find what's going to work for you and don't feel like you have to compete with everybody and start small. Like I would say if you are starting your business or if you're rebranding, like focus on your website. I actually had a lead come in this week where, they were saying, hey, we're doing ads, we're blogging, like nothing's working. And I said, what about your website copy? And I really think if you had to focus on one thing, really focus on that website copy and make sure that it really differentiates you. It's really clear what you do. That's going to go further than like trying to be everywhere at once. And just like try something, see if it works, and then tweak, and then wait until you find something that works before expanding. So like in the last episode, we talked about collaborations, and I tested out like probably 15 different freebies over the years until I found 2 that worked really well. And those are what I use consistently because it's working. They're representative of my work. And so I just keep going with them because they're working. And that doesn't mean that like, oh, I never go in and change the welcome sequence. No, I do. I have the freebie. I do update it. I update the welcome sequence every once in a while because my messaging changes and the things people care about change and the market changes. So like, yes, there are tweaks that need to be made, but you don't have to constantly like build a new funnel, create a new marketing strategy, show up on a new platform. Just update what needs to be updated, rethink things that aren't working, refine what needs to be refined. And then if you are at the point where you are making consistent income, you have those strategies, you know what your systems are, you know what works, then you can make the strategic decision about, does it make sense to scale? Do I want to grow this even more? Scaling is not the end all of success. You get to decide what success looks like for you, and that is how you grow sustainably. So with that, if you need copywriting support, I am booking for the Copy Studio for the end of 2025, beginning of 2026, just reach out, book a call on my website, and we'll make sure you get the right type of marketing strategy for where you are, whether it's growth or scaling. Thank you so much for listening to Cozypreneur, and until next time. That's a wrap on today's episode. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to rate and leave a review on your preferred listening platform. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe for weekly episodes about how to make money and work with the dreamiest of clients without having to get dressed in the morning. Make sure to check out the show notes down below, and I'll see you in the next episode.